Hello. I want to talk to you about something that I think we all could use today, and that is remaining above the noise and staying grounded in a politically charged world. I grew up in a very political family. They were opinionated, but they were very respectful. Just like their belief in God, they knew that others did not always agree with them, and they were careful not to hurt others' feelings. My grandfather fought in World War II, and my family was extremely patriotic. My grandfather always said that he didn't agree with what some people thought or said, but he fought for their right to say it and to believe it. Every night at dinner, we talked politics. We discussed current events, and we had to state what we thought was right or wrong and how to fix it. It was a very productive conversation each night and made me believe that being a citizen was a privilege. I never, ever was taught to think that I was the only person who was right and everyone else was wrong. In the modern world, politics has become inescapable and many times incompatible. It pulses through our news feeds, infiltrates our conversations, and often dominates our mental space. We live in a time when political engagement is no longer limited to election cycles or civic duty, but it becomes a constant presence demanding attention and emotional involvement. But while staying informed and engaged is very important, it's just as vital to recognize that we do not have to live in the drama and destruction of current politics in order to be responsible, thoughtful American citizens. At its core, political drama thrives on reactivity. Every headline is written to provoke, every social media post crafted to elicit a reaction. In such an environment, it becomes easy to feel perpetually on edge, emotionally raw, and exhausted. The solution isn't indifference, it's intentional stillness. When we choose not to react immediately, we reclaim a sense of agency. We can pause, take a breath, and decide whether a response is even necessary. This moment of reflection is not a weakness, it's strength. It's in stillness that clarity emerges. Being informed is different from being inflamed. While understanding the world around us is crucial, constantly consuming news, especially from sources designed to stoke outrage, can overwhelm us. Just as we are mindful of the food we consume, we should be equally discerning about our media diet. Curating one or two reliable sources, limiting news exposure, and setting boundaries around social media can help us to stay engaged without becoming engulfed. How to consume media wisely and thinking critically. In a media landscape designed to grab your attention, stir your emotions, critical thinking is your greatest defense. Stop buying into the sound bites written and intended to outrage you. Start by choosing sources that prioritize reporting over reacting. Look for outlets known for journalistic integrity, those that correct their errors, cite sources transparently, and separate opinion from fact. A few key practices can help. Diversify your sources. Don't get trapped into an ideological echo chamber, read across the spectrum not to agree with anything or everything, but to understand multiple viewpoints and spot bias. Verify before sharing. Just because something confirms your belief doesn't mean it's true. Check dates, sources, and whether other credible outlets have reported this same information. Look for nuance. Be wary of headlines and stories that offer only two sides or paint complex issues as only black or white. Truth often lives in the gray areas. Question the framing. Ask who benefits from this narrative? What emotion is trying to evoke in me? If it's designed to make you outraged, fearful, or tribal, take a step back. You don't have to be an expert in everything, but you can develop a habit of thinking critically, staying curious, skeptical, and open to learning. Let information inform you, not consume you. What to do when a friend's opinions differ from your own? Perhaps nowhere is this tension felt more acutely than in close relationships. What do you do when a friend is highly opinionated and their personal political beliefs differ, sometimes drastically from your own, and they're not afraid to tell you that they're right? First, recognize that disagreement doesn't automatically mean disrespect. Healthy friendships are based on shared values like trust, empathy, and kindness, not necessarily on shared politics. If those core values are intact, it's possible and valuable to maintain connection despite ideological differences. When a friend expresses a strong opinion that challenges your own, resist the urge to immediately counter or correct. Instead, listen with curiosity, not defensiveness. Ask yourself what's underneath what they're saying. What fear or value is being expressed here? You don't have to agree, but you can choose to understand. That said, boundaries are important. If a conversation becomes aggressive, dismissive, or emotionally unsafe, it is always okay to step back. You can say something like, I care about our relationship and I don't want politics to damage it. Can we focus on what brings us together today? Redirecting with intention can preserve both the friendship and your peace of mind. In some cases, space may not be necessary. Not every relationship is meant to be maintained through every season of life, and that is okay. Choosing distance isn't weakness, it's discernment. But if a friend is worth keeping, navigating difference with respect, humility, and compassion can deepen the bond in unexpected ways. Mental and emotional health can also play a critical role in how we navigate the political world. The constant churn of information, confrontation, and crisis can be mentally draining. Taking breaks, engaging in restorative activities, and unplugging are not acts of avoidance. They are necessary tools of survival. We must give ourselves permission to rest and recover. A clear, calm mind is far more effective than a burnt-out one. Ultimately, it helps to return the question, am I living in alignment with my values? If the answer is yes, we can find peace in uncertain times. When we lead with our values rather than following the loudest voices, we remain anchored. We act from purpose, not panic. This is how we rise above the noise. And perhaps the most radical practice of all is compassion. It's easy to hate, mock, or dismiss those who think differently. There's way too much of that going on right now. But compassion asks more of us. It requires us to stay open-hearted, to imagine the fears or pain that might be driving someone else's beliefs. Compassion does not mean agreement, nor does it excuse harm, but it humanizes. It softens the sharp edges of conflict and allows space for change, dialogue, and sometimes healing. We are living in an age of intensity, division, and relentless noise, but we are not powerless. We can choose not to be swept up in drama. We can choose peace over panic, clarity over chaos, compassion over contempt. In doing so, we not only preserve our own well-being, we become steady lights in a stormy world. And that in itself is a deeply political and a deeply human act. If you're struggling with politics and those that differ from you, please go to mammothedge.com and take the life assessment. I would love to support you in dialing down the drama and allow you to think critically and strategically. Thank you.